Welcome back to another Bolt tutorial. In this video, we're going to explore how you can use Bolt to create a slide presentation for VCs, investors, or anyone else who may be interested in your business. Together, we'll build out a gorgeous presentation like the one that we're demoing right now. It has load-in animations and is password protected, so only the investors that you want can view it. Then we'll look at the tool called Slidev and we'll see how you can use this to enable even more features within your presentation, such as annotations and recording your webcam while you present. When starting a process like this, it's good to give Bolt an outline of each of the slides you want it to create. I've gone back and forth with an LLM like Claude to define my business idea and have used it to create a markdown document which outlines the contents of each of the slides. Let's now look through this in detail. Slide 1 is the hero, and we're adding things like what the slide should convey, the feeling, the headline, and more. The more context we add here, the better the agent is going to respond to your request. We've gone on to define the problem here in slide 2. We've outlined the solution in slide 3. Notice that we've said in the body we're adding 3 pillar cards. Slide 4, why now? Slide 5, the edge. And this document goes on outlining 14 different slides. Let's now jump into Bolt, and here's our initial prompt. Let's build a pitch deck which we can show to investors. Use the markdown file attached as guidance for each of the slides' content. To view the pitch deck, viewers should first have to fill in a password, which is make profit, which should be secure and can't be bypassed until correct. We've got the agent in max mode. Now let's put it in plan and we'll generate our plan. The agent's now created a plan. It's asking us some clarifying questions, which we've answered. We'll turn off plan mode and let's build. The build is complete. Let's now test it out. So let's enter an incorrect password. Good, it said invalid password. Now let's enter our correct password, make profit. And there we go, we're into the site. Baseline, the name of the company like we requested, the automated preventative clinic, track your biomarkers on a regular cadence against your own baseline in stations near where you already are. Looks good. It is a little basic and we can iterate on the aesthetics for it, but for now it seems like the scaffolding is here. Let's go to the next slide, which functions. I like that slight animation it has. Medicine waits until you are sick. Defining the problem, onto the third slide. Here we go, those are the 3 cards that we asked for in our markdown document, noting that the agent has done a really good job sticking to that request. Going on to the 4th slide now, 5th slide. I like it how these new slides uses an animation to bring in each of the components on the slides. So if we go to the next one, yep, we can see this animated in quite nicely. Now there's a few little things to tweak, such as these labels have come off the component, so we can fix that. Here's our prompt. On the we see the board slide, the graph labels, which say continuous and standardized, and also one-off snapshot, are wider than the space that's been allocated to them. Move the graph to the right so that these fit on the white background. Because that's quite a simple request, instead of sending that off, I'm going to pair it with a few other requests as well. So let's continue going through the slides. Again, this slide had a nice load-in animation. This slide looks great, however, this bar could be expanded further to the right, so let's prompt that. Here's what we've added to the prompt. On the raising a 5M to 7M seed slide, please expand the width of the bar chart to fill the entire width of the slide. And here's our last slide. To add a little bit of flair to our first and last slide, let's add a shader background to them. I've already configured my shaders connector, and we've got another YouTube video explaining how to do this. With that enabled, here's our prompt. Using the shader connector, please add the same subtle moving shader to the first and last slide. So notice how we've grouped all 3 prompts in the same, and we'll see how well the agent is at executing these. Again, let's go into plan mode and build out the plan. Just like that, the agent has added an animated shader to the first slide. If we jump through, the labels on this board have now been fixed so that they fit properly on the white component. And now the raising a seed round bar chart expands to fill the entire width of the slide. Finally, on the closing slide, we have the same shader background as the first slide, showing that the agent has successfully implemented all of those requests. Another way to build out presentations for your audience is using a tool called Slidev. Slidev is a free tool released under the MIT license that you can use freely. Slidev aims to provide flexibility and interactivity for developers, and it's markdown-based, helping you focus on the content. So let's see it in action. Back in Bolt, let's build out another project. Here's our prompt. Build a pitch deck using Slidev to share with investors. Use the markdown file attached as guidance for each of the slides' contents. We've added the same markdown file here. We have the agent on max mode. We'll put it in plan and let's generate the plan. The plan looks good, so let's build. The beauty of using a tool like this is we have the ability to edit the text directly in line. So if we come down here and we click edit, here we could change the text directly. For example, let's change regular cadence to a monthly basis. And as we're typing, notice how this changes directly inside the slide. Let's jump over to the next one. It also adds things like speaker notes as well, so we can have these on screen while we're presenting. The features of Slidev don't end there. For example, we can click on draw, and while we're presenting, we can highlight something that we're talking about. And it has a variety of all these inbuilt tools. Another feature is the ability to record ourselves, so we could turn our webcam on and record our presentation. To me, it seems as though the UI here within the Bolt built presentation is a little bit nicer and more clean. However, in Slidev, we have all of these other inbuilt tools which we don't need to build out ourselves. The decision is up to you which option you take depending on what you need. So there we go. In this video, we've touched on how to create a markdown document that you can use to build slides inside a Bolt. You can build it directly like the first example, or you can use a tool like Slidev with more features and build out as we've shown in the second example. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and good luck building out your slide deck directly within Bolt.